It's Friday 1st of March 2013 and the 6th annual International Wheelchair Day is here. I'm Steve Wilkinson, affectionately known as Wheelchair Steve, founder of International Wheelchair Day in 2008. I'm so pleased Adelaide is again celebrating this increasingly significant global event with open days and a tour of the facilities at the Independent Living Centre by Tony Piccolo, Minister for Disabilities, and Kelly Vincent, Member of the Legislative Council. I had the pleasure of meeting Kelly this time last year when, along with former Minister Ian Hunter, she launched International Wheelchair Day 5 at the Disability Information Resource Centre. Ian returned to the South Australian Parliament and made a statement to the House on the 28th of March. He explained the background and aims of the day and reaffirmed his launch day commitment to plan and support community activities in South Australia in 2013. He appointed Michael Griffiths from the Department for Communities and Social Inclusion to plan events and activities. I know Michael's been frustrated that some of his more ambitious plans had to be put on hold for this year. Nevertheless, he's done an excellent job organising open days in many locations in South Australia. Thank you, Ian, and best wishes in your new role. It was excellent to hear his successor as Minister for Disabilities, Ian Piccolo, remains supportive and will be actively involved along with Kelly this year. So what is International Wheelchair Day? In early 2008, I googled the phrase International Wheelchair Day and nothing came up, so I thought I would create one with a simple announcement in a blog on eAcademy, a social media website. I chose 1st of March as that was my late mother Joyce's birthday. The day is therefore dedicated to Joyce for her patience and determination to give me the best upbringing possible as I cope with different life in many ways after I was born with spina bifida. As the years progressed, further blogs followed on social media as well as the International Wheelchair Day website page I created. But not only by me, other people worldwide had searched and found International Wheelchair Day and were inspired by its aims to contribute in their own special way. Other activities start to happen all over the world. For example, 2 years ago, a talented young artist called Hannah Enso from Oxfordshire in the UK told me she'd designed a logo for International Wheelchair Day 2011. It was excellent. It was my pleasure to use it as the branding for that year. I invited Hannah, a wheelchair user herself, who in her company Stickman Communications produces excellent cartoons and books depicting wheelchair life, to produce the logo in subsequent years. She's done so, and I'm sure you'll agree that this year's design is fantastic. Thank you, Hannah, and I look forward to you contributing in future years. So what are the aims of International Wheelchair Day? It's a day when wheelchair users celebrate the positive impact a wheelchair has had in their lives. It's a day to celebrate the great work of the many millions of people who provide wheelchairs, who provide support and care for wheelchair users, and who make the world a better and more accessible place for people with mobility issues. It's also a day to acknowledge and react constructively to the fact there are many tens of millions of people in the world who need a wheelchair but are unable to acquire one. This third aim is arguably the most significant because of the impact it has. The World Health Organization estimates that 70 million people require wheelchairs throughout the world, yet fewer than 15% have access to one. People in underdeveloped countries are hardest hit, and a huge number are either confined to their beds, crawl around on the ground, or are carried by others. Not a very dignified way to live, particularly for adults, I'm sure you'll agree. A lot of effort is put in by not-for-profit organisations to provide wheelchairs. However, as the World Health Organization pointed out last year, they are frequently of poor quality and not suitable either for the users or the environment in which they live. It's critical to ensure the user gets the right wheelchair for them and can continue to use it as long as they need to, which is why servicing and people capable of providing it promptly are so important. It's also important to access is provided to buildings, to paths and roads, and to local transportation. This issue was highlighted in a significant event which touched me emotionally last year. Some 90 wheelchair users from the Spinal Injuries Rehabilitation Centre in Kathmandu, Nepal, decided International Wheelchair Day was an appropriate time to hold a rally and parade through the streets demanding better access. Funding to provide suitable chairs for everyone is limited, let alone the support and access also needed. In a world where cash donations are the norm, understandably wheelchair provision is much lower priority as a donation recipient than illness cure, child protection, etc. Last year in Adelaide, very soon after International Wheelchair Day, I met an Australian colleague called Helen Edwards for the first time after we'd spoken many times via Skype and exchanged emails in previous years. We finalised plans we'd been working on together based on Helen's work to provide wheelchairs and other mobility aids to people in Papua New Guinea. We formally launched a unique demand-supply support model project we christened 24902 plus a million. I haven't time to explain the significance of 24902, so please Google Richard Branson's Virginia Night and you'll understand the relevance. This project's aim is to identify 1,024,902 individual cases of need for physical mobility aids. We then aim to satisfy those needs by providing the specific equipment as determined by local medical professionals supporting the people. The global public can view a list on our website and donate online to support an individual case or the project as a whole. However, we want you points on credit or store loyalty cards or points or air miles from travelling the world, not your cash. Some people have many of the latter that won't be used by the expiry date, so donating them to our worthy call will cost nothing. Companies operating these customer loyalty schemes then convert the points to an appropriate cash value and pay identified equipment suppliers directly. International and local logistics companies also support the project by delivering the equipment directly to the right person by a local specialist suitably trained to ensure the wheelchairs, etc., are to specification and will continue to give improved quality of life for that individual. Progress in each case will be visibly global on the website, so there is full transparency and ongoing progress towards our 1,024,902 target can be monitored. It's still early days, but progress has been made on all fronts. Current information is available online with well over 100 needs already identified, and some are expected to be delivered in the not too distant future to Papua New Guinea, thanks to Helen securing American Express as our first organisation converting points to cash to buy products. Another issue to consider on International Wheelchair Day, and critical to overcome, is the stigma often associated with using a wheelchair. People can feel different the moment they sit in a wheelchair due to how others react to them. For example, people may talk to someone with the wheelchair user instead of the wheelchair user directly, or they may make incorrect assumptions about the person's needs and what help they can give. This is how Gail Miller felt when she sat in her mother Barbara's wheelchair for a rest several years ago. Other people immediately started treating her differently from when she was standing. This inspired Gail to interview wheelchair users to get their thoughts, which were somewhat similar. Gail then wrote an excellent book called What We Are Really Like, amusingly illustrated by Samantha Stevens, which was published in 2011. Gail was instrumental in organising International Wheelchair last year with Letitia De Gentile, Director of the Disability Information and Resource Centre. I'm truly grateful to them for their efforts. Gail has continued to spread the word about her book and Associated Teachers Resource Kit throughout Australia and the rest of the world. It's a great book of fun learning for kids. It provides excellent education for adults too, as we strive to make people better understand what it's like using a wheelchair. For more information, please visit Gail's website, www.wheelylike.com. As I'm preparing this speech, I know of several events in the pipeline but have limited information available to share. However, there is one excellent example supporting the third aim to provide wheelchairs. It's an initiative in South Africa by an organisation called Adapt to Change, who are working with Avondale Primary School in Atlantis, Cape Town, to collect used bread tags which are used to close and keep bread fresh. On International Wheelchair Day, they'll be given to an incredible lady called Mary Honeybun, who is in her 80s. Mary works with the Wheelchair Foundation and who aim to provide wheelchairs to people who need them by raising cash from melting down the tags. I hope all events and activities, including the Adelaide Open Days, are a great success. I look forward to hearing about them all via the contact details on the website. I'm already starting to think about International Wheelchair Day 2014 and look forward to even greater community involvement globally. I hope South Australia will strive to be the launch base again, and perhaps I may be there to join in as the community celebrates. So that's International Wheelchair Day 2013. I hope it's a great one. Thank you all.